Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this session. In this session, we'll continue from where we left off. In the previous session, we looked into positioning, how the HTML elements can be positioned, the different properties for the different values for the positioning property is we can have an absolute value. Absolute means is what the element is removed from the normal flow and positioned in relation to the nearest positioned ancestor. So absolute will remove completely from the normal flow, and it will position that particular element with respect to the any immediate ancestor, and it will be with respect to the top left corner. And in case of a fixed element is fixed in a specific position in the window even when the document is scrolled. So if you provide the position property as fixed, you can have that particular element fixed in a position even if your document is having multiple pages. Even if you scroll down the page, the element would be in the same position, right? Relative, the element is moved relative to where it would be in the normal flow. So if we just had the normal flow, and wherever that particular element will be positioned with relate with relation to that position, okay, that is relative. Means if let us say we don't have anything, just it's a normal flow. So let us say in normal flow a particular element is positioned in certain place with respect to that position. So the element will be positioned if we use the relative, and it will use the top and the left pixels whatever is specified, and according to that it will get positioned. And static, the element is positioned according to the normal flow, and this is the default value. So we saw the example on this particular positioning, then how it will make an impact, okay, by choosing a different use of the positioning. Now in today's class we will look into the floating of the elements. Okay, floating elements. It is possible to displace an element out of its position in the normal flow via the CSS float property. So we can use the CSS float property, using which we can make the element to move out of its normal flow position. An element can be floated to the left or floated to the right. If we say the float property as a left, then it will be floated to the extreme left of that particular container. And if you say it as a right, the element will flow to the rightmost corner of that particular container. When an item is floated, it is moved all the way to the far left or far right of its containing block, and the rest of the content is reflowed around the floated element. So if you specify a certain element as float as left, so it will flow to the left, extreme left of the particular container. And if there are other elements, they will refloat. They will refloat inside that particular block. What are the different value we can set for the float property is we can set it as a left, right, both, and none. When you set the float property as left, the left hand edge of the element cannot be adjacent to any other, another element. Means what? If you set it as a left, the left hand edge means left side edge, it should not be adjacent to any other element. Only there can be element on the right hand side. Opposite to that, right, the right hand edge of the element cannot be adjacent to another element. Suppose if you set it as a right, there cannot be any adjacent element on the right hand side of the or the right hand edge of the element. If we specify both the left hand and right hand edges of the element cannot be adjacent to any another element. So on both sides it cannot be adjacent to any other elements. When you specify none, the element can be adjacent to other elements. That is the meaning of the float. So we will see the example of the floating here. This is the one HTML we have. We have a header here. float example. Then I have a paragraph. Some paragraph is written here. A wonderful serenity has taken, and so on. So you can see the float example H1, and next this is the paragraph. This is the paragraph. Then I have a image. Okay, figure element. Inside the figure I have image, src, location of the image. This is alternate attribute, and the close of the image element. Then for this image I have a caption, fig caption, that is the HTML. It's here, British Museum, close of the fig caption, close of the figure. So this after this figure we have one more paragraph. So that is the one more paragraph. You can say when this is next paragraph, whatever you are seeing here, that is the next paragraph. And the properties that are set for the figure is it has a border, one pt, solid, and some color. The thickness of the border is solid line, and thickness is 1 pt, 1 point, and background color is specified as hexadecimal number. Margin is 0, there is no margin. And padding, so there is a little padding inside. You can see padding of 5 pixel. So inside there is a padding. Okay, padding on the sides, padding between the image and the its box. Then we have specified the width. Width is 150 pixel. Now, if we say you can whenever we are floating an element, whenever you are using the floating property, width of the element should be set. So this is the element which should be set. Otherwise, what happens? Automatically, it will take the complete width of that particular container, whatever the parent container. Notice that the floated block level element must have a width specified. Then we have here a float. This is a float property. Float is left. I have the example for that. I will show you the example. And again here figure. This is the left float. Float property left. So this element will float to the left, and rest of the element will refloat. And if you see here, we have a another property. The property is changed here. Figure width remains same. Then float right. Now it is floating to the right, and the margin is 10 pixel. So we have a little bit margin here. So margin on all the side 10 pixel. So it will flow to the right, and everything will float back to the left side. So this element will float to the right. Okay, here the element has flown to the left. We'll see if there is a code. Okay, float. Okay, this is 12 underscore float.html. uh, so document is the same what we had in the example. We have a paragraph, and we have figure. Inside the figure I have an image and figure caption. Then one more paragraph is there, and this is the style that is specified here in the head section. Figure, same border. This is a thick border, some background color, and padding 5 pixel, width and float left. Let me load that particular page. Okay, this is the float.html. So the property value is set as left now. Okay, so don't worry, the border is this one. So if you don't want that thick border, you can use. Okay, now the border has changed. So this is now floated to the left, and rest of the elements will float to the right side. And if I set this as a right, you can see it will flow to the right. floating elements, notice that the floated block level element must have a width specified. We already told whenever we are specifying the float for any element, block level element, it must have a width. If you don't specify, then width will be the set to auto. Auto means what? Which will mean it implicitly fills the entire width of the containing block. Containing block or the parent block you can call. So it will take up complete width of the containing block, and there thus will be no room available to flow content around the floated item. So if you don't specify the width, then what will happen is like there won't be any space on the right side for the other elements, because that element is going to take the complete block. So that is why we have to specify the width. It should be reiterated that floated item moves to the left or right of its container, also called its containing block. Okay, so either it will move to the left or it will move to the right. Floating within a container. So whatever the container is it inside, so it will float inside that container. Here is one more document, HTML document. We have article, starting of the article, end of the article. I have a header h1 float example. This is the float example you can see here. Then one paragraph is there. This is the paragraph. Then I have the figure, inside the figure image and the figure caption. So this is the image and this is the figure caption. Then I have one more paragraph. After that paragraph, one more paragraph is there. One more paragraph, it is here. Now, what is the property that is set? CSS rules for article. We have set the some background color. So you can see this is the first one is the article. For article, we have set some background color, and there is a margin of 5 pixel, 5 pixel and 50 pixel. So you can see 50 pixel, 5, 50, and 5. And padding is inside the for the from the content area to the box. So that is the padding. So we have a padding of 5 pixel, 20 pixel. Then you can see this particular margin. This margin is this margin. Okay, whatever the margin is specified, and padding is inside the between the box and the content. So this is the um, green color. You can see the green color is the border of the green color is the external box, and this is the content area. In between it is providing a 5 pixel and 20 pixels. So 20 pixels on the left and right, and 5 pixels on the top and the bottom. Then for the paragraph we have the margin is 16 pixel. So what is the paragraph we have? We have 1, 2 and 3 paragraphs. So you can see here this is the first paragraph, this is the second paragraph, and this is the third paragraph where we have the image. And if you see similar collapsing rule will follow here. uh, all the vertical padding, it will be having a all the vertical margins will be collapsed. So whichever is the maximum will be shown. So in between these two paragraphs we will have a 16 pixel instead of 32 pixel. And figure, we have border for the figure, 1 pt solid and some color, that is a red color. This is the border for the figure. Background color is specified, and 5 pixel padding is there. Width is specified. This width is 150 pixel. Float is left. So this particular figure will float to the left, and rest of the content will refloat. Okay, because width is specified. This area will be filled up by the next element, and we have float left and margin 10 pixels. So from the box element border, we have a margin of 10 pixel on all the sides. So if you notice here, this particular portion, so this particular portion is zoomed up here. So this is the margin for the paragraph, that is margin bottom. So, okay. So we are just considering a margin bottom. Okay. So margin hyphen bottom. When you say margin 16px, when you say this property margin 16px, then it would be like all the sides. And when you say just for the bottom, if you want to set, you can use margin hyphen bottom 16 pixel. So this is 16 pixel. Notice these margins collapse normal behavior, because I have a paragraph here, I have a paragraph here. So the margin will collapse here. But if you see this particular margin, there is a margin specified for the figure 10 pixel. These things will not collapse. Okay. So this will have its own margin and this will have its own margin. Okay. These margins will not collapse. Floating multiple items side by side. So when you float multiple items that are in proximity, each floated item in the container will be nestled up in beside the previously floated item. All other content in the containing block, including other floated elements, will flow around the all floated elements. So we will see that with the example. When we have multiple elements inside a container, when first element floats, the all other elements will refloat, and based on where the element has floated, accordingly either it will move to the right or to the left. This is a example, floating side by side. This is the article, beginning of the article, this is the closing of the article. Then I have, this is the figure, opening of the figure, closing of the figure. So first figure, from here to here, second figure, third figure, fourth figure, fifth figure, and sixth figure. And then I have a paragraph. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a paragraph. That is the our HTML document. Then the properties for figure, width is specified, okay, 150 pixel, and float left. Now inside the figure, almost everything is exactly the same. All these figures have inside them one image HTML element, one fig caption. Only the source for that images are different and the captions are different. So the first figure, the source is provided and caption is provided. You can see this is the first one and it is set to left. So what will happen is this first element will float to the leftmost of this container. Which container they are in? They are in the article container. It will flow to the left. Then what will happen? The remaining element will refloat. Okay. So you can see here all the remaining elements, they have refloated. They are in this is how they are displayed. And it will take the whatever the width that is provided. Suppose if I resize this window, you can see here the window width has been reduced. The window has this much width has been reduced. When we reduce the width, again the element will take up all the space on the right hand side. Okay, because this is left, and remaining element will refloat. So this float, and this will go to the next line to the left, and again all other elements will refloat. And next figure, you can say we increase the window width. So from this we have increased the window width. You can see all other elements will refloat to the right side of this element. Okay. As the window resizes, the content in the block, the article element will try to fill the space that is available to the right element. So this is floats to the left, and whatever is the space on the right side, the rest of the elements will float back there. Clear property. You can stop the elements from flowing around the floated element by using the clear property. Let us say you don't want that property. You don't want the elements to refloat inside the container. Then we can use the clear property. If you set the clear property, then it will not be floated. This is the example. This is the same article, whatever the HTML we saw previously, the 6 figures, and we have one paragraph. And if you notice here, for the figure, this is the same property. Figure width is specified with all along with other properties. Width is specified, and the float is set as left. Now all these figures have a float property is set as left. Now if you see here, this figure, the first figure and the second figure and the third figure, they have property of left. So this first figure will float to the leftmost side of the container. Then these two images will refloat. Okay. Now the fourth image has a property set class is equal to first. Okay. Where is that class? This is a class selector. Okay. This is a class selector dot first clear left. So the clear property is set as left. No, now this fourth figure will not float here, but instead it will be to the left of the this container, and other two will follow it. Okay, they will refloat, and you can see even the paragraph. For paragraph, we have specified a class is equal to first, which is a class selector, which has the clear property set. So it will be set to the left hand side. So you can see clearly this figure and this paragraph. They have the property of property that is clear property, which value is set as left, and it will be aligned to the left of the container. Containing floats. Containing another problem that can occur with the floats is when an element is floated within a containing block that contains only floated content. In such case, the containing block essentially disappears. So this is the one of the problem. What happens is, suppose if you have a one containing block, and inside the containing block you have only floated content. What you have is only a floated content. If you have only the floated content inside a inside the containing block, then containing block essentially disappears. Okay, so that is the problem. For example, here we have, this is the beginning of the article, end of the article. There is a figure. Okay, opening of the figure, closing of the figure element. Inside that I have image and figure caption. After this figure I have a paragraph. Basically I have one image and one paragraph inside the article. So article is the containing block. Now you can see these are the properties that are set. Figure img, this is the property, float left. Then figure fig caption, again even this figure image, this is left, that is the figure image, this is the property for that figure image. Then figure caption width is specified and float left. So this will float, and I have a then figure specified. These are the properties of the figure. Border is there, background color, padding, width, and margin. And I have dot first clear property is set as left. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir.
And my screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Now you can see this is the containing block that we have. Containing block that will essentially it will vanish. Why it will vanish is inside this figure. You can see this is the figure. And for that the border is specified here. Border is 1 pt and all those everything is specified here. So we should have seen all the border along all the both the figure and the figure caption elements. But how this looks like is this is almost, it has disappeared. Okay, the reason for this is inside this figure we have two elements, image, okay, and and both are floating. So it will make this outer figure box to disappear. Notice that the figure elements content area has shrunk down to 0. It now just has a padding space and a border. So what is left is a padding and the border. Padding is 5 pixels, so you can say 5 pixel and the border. If this property weren't set, okay, border, then you won't even see this thing. So it will basically reduce to 0. Then one solution would be to float the container as well. So one solution is what? Making the container to float as well. But depending upon the layout, this might not be a possible. A better solution would be to use the overflow property. One option is what? Making the container itself floating. So it will solve the problem. Better solution for that is setting the overflow property. If you set the overflow property auto, then it will automatically take the whatever the contents inside, whatever the floating elements that are inside, so it will take care of that. So this is the solution. Now you can see this is how the figure will show up. So with whatever the properties we have set, background color, maybe silver color, and all these values with this kind of a border, you can see the border for the figure element box. Overlaying and hiding elements. One of the more common design tasks with a CSS is to place two elements on top of each other or to selectively hide and display elements. Positioning is important to both of these tasks. So one of the important thing is like we can overlay one element on top of the another, okay, and we can in that process we can make one element to disappear, or we can make it appear. Position is often used for smaller design changes, such as moving items relative to other elements within the container. In such case, relative positioning is used to create the positioning context for a subsequent absolute positioning movie. Positioning move. We will see with the example. Then it is very clear. Now you can see this is the HTML document, and this is the property for the figure. We have a border, background color, padding, width, margin is specified. That is for the this particular figure. Then figure caption. This is the figure caption. Background color black. So you can make out background color is black. Then color is white. The color of that font is white. Opacity is provided. Width, then height 20 pixel, padding 5 pixel. So there is a padding of 5 pixel. Now if I say position relative, now you can say for figure position is relative. This creates a positioning context. So so it would be relative. If you remember, whatever with respect to the normal flow, it will be positioned with respect to that. So the with relation to that normal flow position. Then if you see figure caption, the figure caption is absolute. In case of a absolute is what? It will be removed out of the normal flow, and it will get positioned according to the this its ancestor position. From there, whatever the specified pixels from top and left. So you can see here the positioning of the figure caption from this, from the top left corner 130 pixel, and from left 10 pixel. This is the positioning of the actual positioning of a figure caption. Now we have two images. This is the one actual image which we already used. Okay, that is 878.jpg. So that is the image, and we have one more new image where it says like a new. Okay, and this part of the area is a transparent area, and the name of this file is a new banner.png. Now this is the property. This is the HTML document figure. Inside that, I have the actual image. Okay, the image that you are seeing here, and figure caption is there, British Museum, and I have image, another image, src is equal to this images / new banner.png, and this is the one more image I am putting there, and I am saying class is equal to overlaid. Now this is the class selector dot overlaid. I am selecting the position, absolute position. So from whatever the its container, whatever the ancestor container left top corner, it will position that particular element. This element will be positioned according to that, from top 10 pixel and from left 10 pixel. So this is how it will look like. And suppose if you want to make it to disappear, okay, what you will do is, along with all these properties for the dot overlaid, you will say display none. When you say display none, this will hide the whatever the overlaid image. So this particular image has a class of overlaid, and now dot overlaid has a display :none. When you say this one, this will hide that second image. Whatever the new image we put in, that will be hidden. And a better way to do hiding that second image, overlaying image, is to use the dot hide class. So inside the dot hide, what you are doing is, this is a class selector. You will say display :none, means you don't want, if any element is having this property, then that element will will not be visible on the browser. And then you will set the property as class is equal to overlaid space hide. So what will by having like this, it is from the markup language, it is clearly understood. We are saying overlaid hide means this particular image is hidden, that information can be extracted. This is the preferred way to hide, by adding this class to another element. This makes it clear the markup that an element is not visible. So at the markup level, we will come to know that particular element is not visible. And how to hide elements, just now you saw one way to do it. There are two ways to hide particular element. First one is using the display properties, which we just saw. The display property takes an item out of the flow. It is as if there is the element no longer exists. Whenever you set the display property as none, it will disappear, means it will be taken out of the flow, means it is as good as that particular element is not present. There is another option to make element invisible by using the visibility property. The visibility property just hides the element, but the space for that element remains. In this property, what happens, the element will be there only, okay, its space will be occupied there, everything will be as usual. Only thing is, it will be not visible on the browser. So that is the visible property. You can see this is the HTML element, figure display auto. Okay, this is the auto. By default it will look like this. And if we say figure display none, now you can see this is the paragraph. This is a figure, then paragraph. Now when you say display none, this element is completely removed, as if there is a no figure element. Then you see the rest of the paragraph. If you set the property of the figure visibility :hidden, now here this is the space that was provided for the figure, that space will remain as is. Only thing is, the visibility is made as hidden, right? Means you won't be seeing that particular image or the figure. What you will see is only the paragraph. Then next one is using colon hover to make the thumbnails. Next slide shows how the combination of absolute positioning and the colon hover pseudo class and the visibility property can be used to display a larger version of an image. Okay. Let's see that example. This is the example. The HTML for this is figure class is equal to thumbnail and image src, this the location of the image, and we have a, figure caption class pop-up image. This is the image that is given inside the figure caption. This is the image 828-bigger dot jpg, and alternate value is not specified. And after that I have a paragraph, the library in the British Museum in London, and end of the figure caption. If you see inside the figure caption, I have a larger image, okay, and I have one more paragraph. Now we have two properties that are set, okay. One is like we have pop-up, that is the class, okay, class selector, fig caption dot pop-up. Inside that I have padding 10 pixel, background color position absolute, and we have the box shadow, and visibility is hidden. So for figure caption and pop-up, the visibility is hidden, and we have a property set here like figure dot thumbnail colon hover figure caption dot pop up. Inside that I have position as absolute, top is equal to 0, left is 100, visibility is visible. So what happens is once the page is displayed, when the page is displayed, the larger version of the image which is within figure caption element is hidden. So here for the figure caption we have the property as hidden. When we load this particular page, you will see the image like this and figure caption is hidden. But when we hover, when we move our cursor on top of this image, that is figure dot thumbnail colon hover, then this property will be visible. The figure caption properties will be visibility colon visible. When the user moves or hovers the mouse over the thumbnail image, the visibility property of the figure caption element is to visible. Is when you take your mouse on top of the this image, or when you hover, then you will see the larger image, the same image, you will see the larger image. And where the larger image is coming, this is the larger image which is coming from the figure caption, and also it will have a paragraph. This is the bigger image and the paragraph. Next is constructing multi-column layouts. So we can use this property constructing multi-column layouts. There is unfortunately no simple and easy way to create a robust multi-column page layouts. There are trade-offs with each approach. So using floats to create column, using positioning to create columns. So we can use the floats for creating the columns, or we can use the positioning. The most common way to create columns of a content is using floats. The first step is to float the content container that will be on the left hand side. Remember that the floated container needs to have a width specified. So we'll see the example, then it is clear. Okay, using floats to create columns. So one way of creating a layouts, we talked about when we talked about HTML tables, we can use the HTML table as creating a layout, and this is another way of doing it. Now you can see here, this is my regular HTML document where I have a header block, navigation block, and inside I have some list, okay, unordered list. Then I have division block. Inside division block, header, figure, and two paragraphs. And I have a footer. So navigation block, you can make it as a column, okay, on the left hand side. Normally what you will have in the navigation block, you will have all the links, right? Wherever you want to navigate, all the links will be listed here. It is always better to have it on the left hand as a column. So you can set the property as a float as left. So this particular navigation element will flow to the left. And if you want here, either you can leave it like that, or you can set the property of this div. Okay, property of this div, and you can provide a left margin so that this particular navigational panel will look like a particular column as the first column. This is the example here. Now this is a navigation, okay, navigation block, and on the right hand side we have all other contents which will refloat. And this particular navigation block here, I think the this comes under the div, and they have set the property of the div as a they have specified left margin. That is why all this element is shown with a margin of this much width, which is the actual width of the navigation block. The other key step is changing the left margin so that it is no longer flows back under the floated container. So what we can do is we can set the left margin. So next is the example. See, you can see here the left margin is set. So this is the div element, right? I will show you the original. You have navigational, then you have the div block. So this div block, if you set the left margin for this, then this will float to the left, and this will be shown with that much left margin. That is what has been done here. So this div has a left margin set, and this has the float property, float left property. You can see div hash main, that is div with the id main margin hyphen left 220 pixels. So this much is the 220 pixel, and this one you can see here. This is a actual content that is shown on the web browser. Using floats for 3 columns. So if you want to make 3 columns, then you can see here navigation block. You are going to float it to the left, right? This will float to the left, and let us say aside. Normally aside would be on the right hand column. You can make that aside to float to the right. So this is the complete document. I have header, navigation block, aside. Okay, navigation will come to the left, aside has to come to the right, and center portion should be the content area. So div main content area. Then I have a footer. So we will make the navigation element to float left, and aside element to float right, and this particular div will have left as well as right margin. So this is how it will look like. Using positioning to create a column. Positioning can also be used to create a multi-column layout. Typically, the approach will be to absolute position the elements that were floated in the examples from the previous section. So another way of creating column is using, one is the method, one is using the floating, second one is using the positioning. So here you can see the positioning. So this is same document we have. Here it is little bit different. We have header, then aside section is there, and we have a division container. So this is a div container. Inside the div container, I have navigation, and then I have the main block, that is main content area. So what it is done is this aside is right float. Okay, you will specify the right margin for this container, div container. You will specify the right margin, and then you will say this navigation block as the left float. Okay, so this particular navigation will left float inside this container, and you will also specify the left margin for this container. Then it will look like this. Note that with the positioning, it is easier to construct our source document with the content in more SEO friendly manner. In this case, the main div can be placed first. So this would be, with the positioning, it would be very helpful for the SEO, that is search engine optimization. Friendly it would be. It will be able to find the information that is required, so that it will help in listing your website whenever certain search is carried out. Okay, so this is the document. Okay, so this first container we have a header and footer, and then we have a container. Inside the container we have a main content area, we have navigation block, and we have aside block. So for this container block, the position is set as relative. Okay, relative with respect to the parent. Then this navigational block, first thing is position is absolute, and left is 0 0. When you say position is absolute, it will be taken out of the normal flow, and with respect to this corner it will be positioned with the absolute position. 0 0 means it will take the leftmost, okay, from this corner. Then left is 0 means from left it is 0, from top it is 0, means this corner. And if you see aside, position again is absolute, same absolute position. Now right 0 top 0 means right 0 top 0. With respect to the ancestor container, it will be positioned with respect to this corner, so 0 comma 0. Then we will specify the left margin and right margin, and this main body will be displayed. Positioning discussion. What would happen if one of the sidebars had a lot of content and was quite long? In the floated layout, this would not be a problem at all, because when an item is floated, blank space is left behind. But when an item is positioned, it is removed entirely from the normal flow. So subsequent items will have no knowledge of the positioned item. So this is the one problem when we have the when we use the positioning. Okay, you can see here. Now this is the float and this is the absolute positioning. In case this particular content is more, navigation content is more, then what will happen? Automatically it will flow to the left, and this will flow to the right. Okay, and automatically your footer will come to the bottom and with a clear left. But if it is absolute positioning, okay, if you use the positioning, then some of this content will be overwritten. So elements that are floated, leave behind the space for them in the normal flow. We can also use the clear property to ensure later elements are below the floated elements. Just we can use the clear property so that they are clearly visible. But in absolute positioned, elements are taken completely out of normal flow, because you remember when we say absolute positioning, it will be taken out of a normal flow. Here it still follows the normal flow, meaning that the positioned element may overlap subsequent content. The clear property will have no effect since it responds to the floated elements. So this is one problem with the positioning. If you use the layout using the positioning, this can the content can overlap with the other content. But in case of a float, that problem is does not happen, because it still follows the normal flow. Here, since because you said the position is absolute, it will remove the normal flow. Approaches to CSS layout. There are different approaches for the layout of the CSS. We will take a look into those in the next session.